Hello, everyone. I am Fred Oakman. Here with me is Mr. Jake Peters. You're listening to PS's Awesome PlayStation Podcast. This is episode 357, where we share our thoughts on all things PlayStation. Before we jump in, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS. This is awesome. And you can also watch the video of the podcast on our YouTube channel. So check out our trophy list on the PSN. I'm anchorless_81. Jake is JakeSaw01. Send your thoughts to psthisisawesome@gmail.com. This is our last episode of the year, so thanks for tuning in as I screw around with my pop filter because everything is jacked up on my end for some reason. My computer just likes to shit the bed for no reason. But yeah, so you can write us, psthisisawesome@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate us, and for $1 on Patreon, you can join the one and only $1 club, receive a die-cut vinyl sticker in the mail, and a shout out on the show. This is what it looks like right here. Through the end of December. So this is your last opportunity to sign up for a discount for 25% off. You can use the code 25OFF. In addition, you can now gift the show to a friend. You can go to patreon.com/PSThisIsAwesome/gift, and they will get a free sticker and a shout out as well. So if you like the podcast, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment on the YouTube stuff we put up over there. That out of the way, Jake, how are you doing on Christmas Eve? We are actually recording on Christmas Eve, which is not normal for a lot of podcasts.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm busy. I've been running nonstop, so it's not really been much of a vacation, but I mean, just about there, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not really. We've got to travel basically the next fucking 5 days, so I got a lot going on, but other than that, doing okay. Essentially just doing a lot of Christmas prep and home maintenance stuff and all kinds of junk, but yeah, nothing really special. How about you?
Yeah, not a whole lot. Just fussing with the computer here before the show. My Canon camera that I normally use is not connecting or needs an update or something. So the viewers are getting a slightly different view of my recording studio here. So I hope you guys enjoy the extra wide angle. You can see some more of
I must say one of my favorite things is how you refuse to maintain or update your computer, and then you're like baffled when things don't work.
But it's going to cost me so much money to do it. It's a financial choice. It's not because I'm lazy. We've gone over this. My audio interface has essentially been, I don't know, updated
Obsoleted.
out. It's no longer supported. So if I upgrade my Mac too far, I would no longer be able to use this $1,000 fucking interface that I have.
Do you know that's true, or are you making an assumption?
I'm not 100% certain, but once you go one way with the Mac, it's near impossible to go backwards. So it's tough to roll things backwards as far as operating system shit. Once you get their latest, they don't want you to go backwards. And
I get it.
All
yeah,
the plugins, all the audio plugins I use, all that stuff. It all is working. The camera thing now just told me the EOS. Canon has a EOS app that's a web utility app for. I'm running an old T3i Rebel here. Not today, but usually it's what I shoot on for the podcast. But it's mounted behind my Mac, and it runs into my Mac with a cord. And when I turn on the camera, it usually, like a plug and play, it says, "Oh, camera identified," and it pops up on OBS, and everything's fine. Well, I was turning it on, and it wasn't turning on. It wasn't even recognizing it. So I went to the EOS app, and it said, "Oh, there's a new update available for the EOS web app." And I'm like, I'm not gonna fuck with this. So anyways, that's where we're at. I don't even know if it's going to fix it. It works some days, doesn't work other days, but I'm doing good. It's the day before Christmas, man. That's a big deal. I got out of work early today. Got out at 12:30. We're recording this a little before 2:30. I still have some last minute things to do out in the wild. Not a whole lot. My mom doesn't listen to the show, but she likes to do scratchers, lottery tickets. So I just have to run to a gas station and get her some lottery tickets for Christmas. That's really all I got to pick up. But I baked some cookies yesterday and the day before to give as gifts to family. It's the best way to go, you know. It's something personal, and especially if you're good at it. I'm a great baker, so made some nice thumbprint cookies. I made some Mexican wedding cookies, and I made some old standby chocolate chip cookies. So I'm all ready for that. But I'm trying to think if anything else. Oh, my 3D printer's giving me shit. So One Black Talon, I think you're the 3D printer listener of the show. My FDM printer, man, I've been fussing with it so much, and it's an Anycubic Cobra 2 Pro. I have probably 500 or 600 hours of printing on that thing. Honestly, I'll just run that fucking thing overnight. So I've changed nozzles. I've replaced the tubing on the inside. It's the Teflon tube or whatever. I've done that. I don't know. I've done those two things, which seems like a lot to me, but I know it's not. I just recently re-greased it and tightened up, shored up the belts a little bit on it. But the problem that I'm running into is that I wouldn't call it stringing. It's kind of a build plate adhesion issue, but it's not. It is. Sometimes I'm getting like ooze and stuff around the nozzle when it prints, and it's a new nozzle. And I got a hold of Anycubic, and I sent them pictures of the prints when they do print, and there's just no stability in the print. Like, they're really fragile, no matter what my infill settings are. They're just really fragile, and it's almost like maybe the Z-axis setting is off, but I have an auto-leveling feature on this printer, so it should be just detecting the Z-axis and just working. So the fact that I don't think it is could be the issue, could be an issue with the auto-leveling software, but it also, I don't know why that would just quit working. Anycubic sent me a test model to print, an STL. I plugged it in, it didn't work. And then the guy at Anycubic was just like, well, we really appreciate your support of our product. We're going to send you an extruder to replace on your printer, see if that works. So I'm waiting for the extruder to come in. You know, these 3D printers are full of consumables. You can buy them piecemeal, pieces as they break down. You know, they are pretty physical machines. You know, they're getting hot. They're temperature regulated. Bed slingers. The beds are sliding back and forth underneath it on belts and pulleys, and the axles have to be greased. And there's a lot of motion and inertia and like just force with these things when they print. So, and then you're worried about like the control of the filament and how much is shooting out, the nozzles, the hot end, all that crap. Anyways, long story short, it's not printing worth shit right now. It's rendered useless. I can't figure it out. I tried to manually set the Z-axis. Wasn't having any much more luck, if I'm being honest. So it might be the extruder. I might have fucked it up when I had that really bad clog with the Teflon tube, and I was trying to like do like a cold pull to like clear it all out, and I might have fucked up the extruder by yanking on it stuff too hard. But so we'll get a new one. We'll put it in. We'll see what happens. But that's really the latest with me, man. Just fussing with that printer, working, playing some video games when I can, and baking. So life's been pretty chill. We don't have the new Christmas song for the listeners, but you can still be subjected to the old one. So again, if you want to write a complaint in, we'll send it to our email address. I'll make sure Nate gets it. That being said, I don't have a whole lot to do or to talk about. What we're going to talk about today is going to be pretty quick, Jake. We're going to go over our PlayStation wrap. The wrap up for 2024. PlayStation sent, they do this every year. They give you a synopsis of the gaming that you've put in, the legwork you've put in over the year. And I just thought you and I would go over our list, talk about some of our memories this year of gaming. And we got a couple news points at the end to wrap things up. But with all that out of the way, why don't we start with games that we're playing? So I'm still playing Metro, but I haven't made any progress. So I didn't play it this past week because I've been just tunnel vision trying to beat Darkest Dungeon 2. Like I might as well have just been transported into that world. I'm so knee deep again in this game. It got its hooks back into me. The third confession, which is the something focus, the focus fault. I posted a video on our YouTube channel of me defeating the focus fault, which is the confession 3. Yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of views. It's got enough though. and it was quite the experience. It was a riveting. So I was having trouble because they suggest different party builds for these different bosses, and I took this party build, and it was like, God, who was it? The Flagellant, the Man-at-Arms, somebody else, and maybe the Jester or the Plague Doctor, I think maybe. But anyways, man, just getting to the boss was a challenge in and of itself. And when you get to them, there's no guarantee that your party's going to even have full health. Because to get to the mountain to fight this boss, you have to go through 2 of these Oblivion's ingresses or whatever, which have these really difficult mini bosses. And there's really no time to heal. You just have to, so however bad they fuck you up is the starting point that you start at fighting a boss that's even 10 times harder than what you just got through. So it's really about building, I guess, working synergistically with the characters that you have and making sure that you have the proper skills equipped and leveled up for that run. But needless to say, I beat it. I beat the Focus Fault, and it felt fucking good. And then I was doing the 4th confession, and I got to the boss for the first time, and I fucking beat him the first fight. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm in. So now I'm on my last run. This is the last confession. So I'm on the final confession, and I don't know if it's called Ambition. I think Ambition was the one I just beat. But I have one last boss to defeat before I beat Darkest Dungeon 2, which is going to be fucking dope because it is a hard game. Like, if you look at the YouTubers and stuff that YouTube this game, everybody's just talking about how, this game was very difficult. They actually say the final boss might be one of the easier ones. So here's to hoping. I think they do a lot of damage over time damage. So if I can just mitigate the blight, I think that I'm going to take from him somehow with potions or with skills or resistances, I might be able to beat him on my first try. I'm on my way there right now. I'm on my way there. Anyone who's played the game, I defeated the librarian. I have his head, so now I can get into the mountain and fight this final boss. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's really it, man. I'm excited to be on the last confession of this game. I never beat the first Darkest Dungeon. If you guys listen to the podcast, I'm a big fan of the game. The difficulty I could do with or without, but I do like the gameplay loop, and I do like the art direction and the narrator, and it's all fucking dope, dude. What about you?
Well, I have pretty much only been playing Indiana Jones this past week. I don't know how far into the game I am. I think I have to be getting pretty close to the end of it. It's longer than I expected it to be. I think it's like 23 hours, something like that, if you look at how long to beat, if you're doing like some of the extras and stuff, which I am doing. So I am still really enjoying it. There's some shit about it that I find incredibly annoying, and it's not like experience breaking or anything like that. It's like I don't know if you've ever played a game where they make sacrifices in video gaminess for the sake of I don't know, immersion, I guess you could say, or whatever. But like for example, this is Machine Games. They did the Wolfenstein games, which were very obviously traditional first-person shooters, other than, they had like a cool story and stuff. And you have guns in Indiana Jones, even though they're like kind of, I don't want to say they're difficult to use, but they're not ideal because you can die really easily if you get into a gunfight. So you only really want to use them whenever it's necessary. Especially if you're on the higher difficulties, you can die getting shot with a couple of bullets or whatever. So you kind of want to try to sneak around as best you can, but the guns are there and they do work if you need them. The thing that annoys me is like the controls are all fucked up for the guns. It's like, why why are the controls fucked up? Why is it not the same as every other first-person shooter ever whenever I pick up a gun? It should be that, you know, you hold down the left trigger, you aim, you press the right trigger to fire, you press, it would be square on PlayStation, it's X on Xbox to reload. You know, but for whatever reason in this game, it's like, yeah, you pull the gun out, you use the triggers to fire like you normally would. But if I want to reload without having it auto reload at the end of a clip, if I want to like manually reload, I have to release the aim, the left trigger, and press the right trigger, and it will reload. So it is impossible to hip fire a gun.
That's weird.
You can only fire by holding down the left trigger and then pressing the right trigger.
Are you firing a lot more guns now in this game, or?
I mean, I am, but it's still not like. Usually, what ends up happening is if there's just like one or two enemies about, I might just, and I've got a gun, I might just mow them down. But typically, what ends up happening is like if a stealth section sort of implodes, I end up using guns to like try and get out of it. Like a lot of times what'll happen is like if I'm sneaking into a building or whatever and I find myself in a room, or if I'm sneaking in and the alarm gets sounded, I'll run into a room and like the only way, like if there's no way for me to escape where they can't find me, you know, what I'll do is I'll back myself into a corner and then just like kind of mow guys down as they come into the room.
It's a good tactic.
But the problem is that ammo is very limited. So a lot of times what ends up happening is that like there was this one section I played a couple days ago where I was in this office and these guys were like coming into the room and I'd like kill like two guys or three, and then like I'd run out of bullets, so I'd have to go pick up one of their guns to kill the next couple guys that come in, and then I have to go pick up another gun to kill the next couple guys that come in, because you can't like let's say I have the German machine gun or whatever it is, the assault rifle, it's like an MP40 or something, and I run out of ammo. I can't just like pick up ammo off of the ground and reload. I have to throw the gun down and pick up another gun, which is kind of
it's weird.
Like one of those things where it's like immersive. It's what I was talking about earlier, where it's like this breaks the gaminess of it for the sake of immersion. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, you're not going to be sitting there pulling magazines out of other guns to put in your gun and like all this crap. But it's like, it's annoying that I keep having to, because I pick up a gun, it's only got the one magazine in it. I shoot 20 bullets out of this fully automatic gun, then I got to drop it and pick up another one because I don't have any extra ammo on me.
Right.
So it is immersive and it's realistic in that way, but it's very annoying from a gameplay perspective. I will say though, like this game does an amazing job of capturing the spirit of Indiana Jones. I don't really know how to like explain it, but like it helps that obviously the character looks like Harrison Ford. Troy Baker does a really good job of making it sound like Harrison Ford. But even like, dude, like I just did this Egypt section, and well, I'm actually like past that part now, but I was in this Egypt section, and like the exploring these Egyptian tombs and stuff is so fucking cool. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, to me, it seems better almost somehow than even in like Uncharted and stuff whenever you're exploring these ruins. I don't know if being in first person makes that much of a difference, or if it's just that like there's an attempt at realism here, so like everything almost kind of looks like it would in real life, so that kind of brings you into it a little bit.
The suspension of disbelief is a little better, huh?
Yeah, like you don't have to suspend your disbelief so much, because it's not like this obviously made up like crazy thing. Yeah. I mean, there are some like kind of wild puzzles, but they all seem very authentic.
That's
if that
cool.
makes any sense. There is one, like, I don't want to say it's game breaking, but it's the reason why the gun things and stuff, like, sometimes that annoys me is because, like, there's this one aspect that they tried to play on the Indiana Jones thing, but it is totally immersion breaking. Where there's this upgrade where you can, if you die, like if you get killed in quotes, like you get knocked down, you can, if you find your hat on the ground, you can pick it back up and you get like one more chance at life.
Oh wow, yeah.
So like it's almost like that scene in Indiana Jones where he like grabs his hat as he's like leaving the tomb or whatever. I think they're like playing on that. The problem is that I'll like break stealth and I'll be like fighting all these fucking guys.
Yeah.
And they'll kill me. And I'm like laying there, like half dead, crawling around looking for my hat. All these dudes will like walk out of the room and I'll just pick up my hat and I'm totally in stealth again. And so like it's like it feels gross, I guess is what I'm saying, because it's like it feels like I'm cheating, because like I can just let them kill me, and then as long as I do it within like 30 seconds, the guys will like turn around, start walking away. I can pick up my hat, immediately go into stealth, and like stealth kill one of the guys as they're walking out of the room, take his gun, and then like get back into the fight. Like it's very, I kind of wish, like, it's hard to explain, but if you play the game when it comes out on PlayStation, you'll know exactly what I mean. It just feels so, it feels broken from a video game perspective.
Yeah.
Because like you can, I've been in fights where I've done this like 2 or 3 times. Like, it's not like you do it once and then it's gone until you die and you have to reload. Like, it's like, no, I do it and then I'll fight for another couple minutes. I'll get killed again. I'll pick up my hat. I'll get back up. And it's just like, okay, this is a little bit kind of wonky. But I could kind of overlook that because I am really enjoying the rest of the game. I'm excited for it to come to PlayStation because I really think that it's a game that, like I said before, I think some people are going to be put off by it when they expect something like an Uncharted or like a, first person shooter like Machine Games or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think if you're an Indiana Jones fan, I think that you'll really like it. And I did watch on Friday the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Because I was like, I haven't watched the Indiana Jones movies in so long. So I was like, oh, I want to rewatch some of these. And, man, it's such a good movie. So I'm probably at some point here gonna watch the other 2 of the original trilogy just because I'm kind of in the mode right now. But I think at some point here soon, I'm going to jump back into, because I don't want to let it go too far. I'm going to jump back into Metaphor and try and get that finished up.
Yeah.
But I think I'm kind of closing in on the end of Indiana Jones. So I sort of want to knock that off of the list or whatever. So, but that's all I'm playing right now.
Oh, cool. Good, dude. Well, I'm glad you're playing some some good stuff. And Indiana Jones looks cool to me. I don't know. I'm guessing I'll probably get to it when it comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know though.
I bet it'll look awesome on PS5. It looks pretty good on Series S, and I know that it's a subpar graphical experience, let's say, than it will be on PS5 or PC or whatever. And I think it's coming out in like 6 months, I think is what they said. So probably like April or May we'll get it on PS5.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, keep it in mind.
Yeah, I probably should honestly look into getting it when it comes out. It seems like it's up. I think I'm just kind of thirsty for a game like that, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is really. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air a little bit from some of these other just deeper experiences, because you just kind of run around, you explore tombs, you solve these little mysteries, you put on these disguises and sneak around. And everything is very like Indiana Jones and campy, and like it feels really cool. And like I like that everything's in like a notebook, kind of like Uncharted, but it's more than that. Like there's no skill tree, but you find these books throughout the world, and each one of these books will like teach you a new skill or ability. Like you can carry more bandages, or you can deal more damage in melee combat. And it's like the way that you get the currency to be able to read these books and learn is by doing simple things like taking photos of monuments or solving little mysteries or completing missions or whatever. So like the whole game really does a good job of rewarding the exploration aspect of it, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I think just like exploration adventure, like just I think part of the Uncharted game that a lot of people don't really pay much attention to is that you're just traversing the world and you're just seeing different areas. And that's the plot of those games offers so much to setting changes that is just enjoyable when you're playing a game. You're not in the same area the whole game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something
definitely.
nice about that. Yeah, anyway, sorry about that. I'm having some issues with something over here on my end, but let me see here. Show topic. Very good. I'm glad you get some game of this. So we're just going to jump right into our wrap, dude. Let's get right into it. So PlayStation sent these emails out. They said, hey, here's a review of your wrap. We're going to touch on most of the things, but maybe not. So the PlayStation Wrap 2024, when I got into it, it told me when I joined the PlayStation Network. I don't know if it told you, Jake, but mine said 2008, which seems probably about right, honestly.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
2008 is what it says.
2008 what?
Is when I joined the PlayStation Network. So the very first screen you get when you jump into your Wrapped, on the bottom, mine said...
Oh, 2009 is what mine says.
Okay, cool.
You said 2008?
Yeah.
Is that when you got your PS3?
It must have been.
Okay.
It must have
That
been.
makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense. So the other thing, so you were 2000 and I'm gonna
9.
I'm gonna write this down on our notes. All right, and then it tells you next how many games you played in 2024. And I started off with Final Fantasy XVI, which I never beat, and I ended with Darkest Dungeon 2, which makes sense because I'm talking about it now here in December. But I played 35 games this year. It seems like a lot to me. Because most of the games, when I play them, I usually see them through. Maybe this year was kind of a bit of an exception. I'm guessing, Jake, that you've played more because you have the Xbox and you've played games that's not going to track. This is strictly on the PlayStation. But how many games did you have?
I also have 35 games. But like you said, this is just on PlayStation. It doesn't include anything I've dicked around with on PC or on Xbox. But it says that I played 26 PS5 games and 9 PS4 games. I don't know if yours differentiates between the two.
It did, but I don't have it up.
Okay.
You played 35. All right.
And it says, there's also another little blurb here that says, from the very start of your PSN account, you've played 289 games. Which is pretty interesting.
Wow. I guess I should probably see if I still have that up. I don't think I do. Oh, I do. Let me go back. It's still open on my phone. That's on the first one?
It was on that screen where it says in 2024 you played so many games. Mm-hmm. And there's a little bubble that popped up. Check it out.
Yeah, 386 total for me.
Oh, wow. You've played almost 100 more games than me.
That's wild. Okay, very good. And then we're going to get into our top 5 games of 2024. Not necessarily our ranking, but the top 5 games that we played. And
so before we jump on that, my first game was Beat Saber.
Oh, yeah. What was your first game? Beat Saber.
My first game was Beat Saber, but I don't see my last game anywhere. I don't know if that's later in the wrap up. But it literally just says your first game was Beat Saber. My last game is going to be Metaphor. I can just tell you because that's the last game that I played on my PS5. But Yeah, so Beat Saber. I must have been rocking the. You know what? I think New Year's Day. We had Sarah's family over, and I was showing her dad the VR with Beat Saber. So that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine that tracks. It's nice that these seem accurate. It goes next to our top 5 games, which are the games that we gave the most attention to. And I would have to say, you want to start at the bottom of the list and go back and forth, or do you want to go from the top?
Sure, whatever you want. That's fine.
All right, so my least played, top played game. So coming in at number 5 for me is Space Marine 2 with 12 hours.
Wow. You must have some other games you put a lot more time into.
Yeah,
my number five is Dragon's Dogma 2 at 36 hours.
Wow. Okay. My number 4 is Dead Space Remake with 15 hours.
My number 4 is Stellar Blade with 36 hours.
Okay. That tracks. And my number 3 is Final Fantasy whatever game we said.
16?
Yeah. 16. 34 hours.
There you go. My number 3 was Death Stranding at the... I think it was the director's cut, actually, at 41 hours.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, Death Stranding was one of my big ones last year. Number 2 for me was Helldivers 2 with 39 hours. I can't believe I played that game that much.
My number 2 was, and the top 2 will be no surprise to anyone for me. The number 2 was Metaphor currently at 72 hours and climbing.
And my number 1, Darkest Dungeon 2, 90 hours.
You must, I mean, maybe you just didn't play, is there a thing where it says how many hours you've played in the year? I'm just curious because it seems like, just so you know, my number 1 is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at 83 hours.
Yeah.
But like, it seems like of these top 5 games, cumulatively, I've logged a lot more hours than you. But we've played the same number of games this year on PlayStation. Yeah. So I'm wondering if you spread your hours out across more games, or if you just played less than me. I'd be wondering if there's a stat on that.
We'll find out. How many. We'll find out. I think it does. I think there is a stat that shows up eventually here. Let me see here. Gaming style. Based on the type of games that I played, I am a role player. I spent 45% of my game in the expansive worlds and immersive narratives of RPGs, it says. I guess it's just considering Darkest Dungeon 2 that. I don't know.
I was going to say, because it wasn't Darkest Dungeon the only RPG in that list that you just mentioned?
Oh, Final Fantasy.
Oh, right. Yeah, mine's the same. It says you spent 50% of your time in whatever. So role player is also my style.
Okay, cool. Good deal. And moving on. So they give you a breakdown of games that you played most in each month, which I like this a lot. This is interesting. And the reason, and we'll just go through it. Why not?
Sure.
It's interesting to me because there were 2 games in here I forgot that I played already. And they were like the big game of the month. I was like, wow, you're right, I did do that. So my game in January was Final Fantasy XVI with 30 hours. I had 45 gaming sessions. Here's what I don't understand. Oh, okay, so total hours logged. See, these times are all weird because it says I have 42 hours logged of Final Fantasy XVI. I wonder if I started it in December and I only 30 hours of it was in January. I guess it's confusing because the hours are a little weird here.
Yeah, I don't understand because there's that little clock underneath the name of the game, and then there's the hours logged line, which is a different number.
Oh, you know what? I think the monthly stats aren't specific to that game.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So I logged 42 hours in January. 30 of the 42 were with Final Fantasy XVI.
Okay.
That makes sense. What was yours in January?
Death Stranding director's cut or whatever the fuck it is. And yeah, I had 27 hours in Death Stranding that month, but I had 79 gaming sessions, which seems like a fucking lot.
Well, they're short.
And
probably.
But I would have had to have played on average twice a day, which is a lot
in the morning,
because I typically don't do that. I mean, I always play in the morning, but I wonder like if it counts when like your shit's on standby and stuff and you're just like in and out, you know?
I don't think
like,
anybody knows that. Yeah.
How accurate that is. I logged 67 hours in January total.
Okay.
8 games played, and then yeah, whatever. 54 trophies earned.
All right.
For January.
Let's move to February. Was my Helldivers 2 month. Well, February and March, which is sad because I only did 35 hours of gaming in February, and then I did 12 hours of gaming in March. But Helldivers 2 took the cake both months. So that was my February-March game. How about you?
Immortals of Avium was my February game. Underrated game. I think more people should play. I played 22 hours of that. I had 82 gaming sessions, 51 hours logged, 5 games played, 61 trophies earned.
Okay. Interesting. Huh. Forgot about that game. Is that same for March for you? That's March too?
No, that's just February.
Okay, give me
Did you
your
play
March.
Immortals of Avium?
No, I never played it. But give me your March because I had Helldivers for both months.
Oh, okay. My March top game was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at 71 hours. I had 63 gaming sessions, 72 hours log. So I played literally almost nothing but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in March. I had 71 hours in Final Fantasy. I had 72 hours logged for the month, and it says I played a total of 2 games. So I must have had Immortals of Avium like bleed into March just barely before I started Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Huh. That's kind of wild. Surprising, actually. I guess it makes sense. Let me see here. I've got April. 23 hours logged. 9 of those hours was the Callisto Protocol. So that was my April game.
Callisto Protocol, huh?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Did you like that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it too. I think it's underrated for a lot of people. So for April, I had an oldie but a goodie. Wolfenstein: The New Order was my top game.
Oh, yeah.
At 12 hours. I had 6 gaming sessions in April, so I must have been playing on Xbox or something. Because there's no way I only played 6 times in April.
Yeah.
And I wait a second. There's no fucking way this is right. I played 6 times in April and logged 52 hours apparently. So I averaged almost 10 hours per gaming session.
Something got jacked up there.
Yeah. So that's interesting. And then it says I played 33 games in April apparently.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what.
There's something wrong with that stat.
Something must have been happening with the network around this time because it says I didn't play a single gaming session in May. That's impossible. It's absolutely impossible.
Oh yeah, that is weird.
That's impossible.
It says I played Fallout 4 in May for 11 hours, 43 gaming sessions, 28 hours logged, 4 games played, trophies earned 24. So I could believe that. I played Fallout for a little bit.
Okay. Now here's a game I forgot that I played. And I logged 9 hours in June, and it was Deliver Us Mars on the PS4 and PS5. That was a good game. I I do remember. It was good. It was really weird. I remember playing Deliver Us the Moon, and that was good. And I wanted to play this, and I did, and I enjoyed it. So I played 6 games that month. I had 17 sessions and logged 9 hours in that game and beat it. Jake, what about you for June?
June was the month of Stellar Blade for me, and I played 29 hours in that. 41 sessions, 41 hours logged. 2 games played. I wonder what the other one was. Maybe, I guess it would have probably been either one from the month before or after. And then, 27 trophies.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, this is going to get easier for me. July and August, Darkest Dungeon 2. 32 hours in July, 14 hours in August. So, 46 hours in those 2 months of Darkest Dungeon 2. Yeah, July and August.
I had, so I'll just rip through these. I had, July was Dragon's Dogma 2. I played 27 hours that month. And then August was, I played that, I totally forgot that I played Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion on PS5, and I played 11 hours of that game in August.
Okay. Well, September. That was the month that Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 came out. And I'm guessing yours is going to be Astrobot this month. But I'm going to say I did 12 hours of this game. Jake, September?
September, Game of the Year, Astrobot. Played 18 hours of that.
That's a good thing. I've played the game. I haven't.
You just hate it.
Yeah, it's the worst game I've ever played in my life. No, I'm just kidding. I really liked it, man. I liked it. I just didn't go back to it.
So I'm gonna let you. So I'll let you go through the rest of the year, but I have October, November, and December are all metaphor for me.
Okay.
So you just kind of shoot off whatever you want for the rest of the year.
And it's weird because I just played this game and beat it, and I've been so into Darkest Dungeon 2, I forgot that I even had this experience already. It's not a testament to the game, but the casting of Frank Stone was my game in October.
Yeah.
It was a good game. I liked it. I put 8 hours into that. I only played 3 games in October. November was the Dead Space remake. When I beat that, I put 11 hours into that. And then lastly, December, it says, is my top month. 37 hours of Darkest Dungeon 2. So,
Man.
And I'm still not through it, but it was my top month. Although I got 43 trophies in November. That was my highest trophy month, which is crazy. So, I don't know. I'm going to take that for what you will. And then the wrap talks about the number of hours you actually played PlayStation in 2024. And I have played 285 hours. What about you, Jake?
512.
Jesus.
But the thing is that, like, I'm skeptical of these numbers because I'm not saying that isn't true, but based on that one card in the previous screen, it seems like there was something screwy, at least in the middle of the year, with some of the numbers that they were recording. Because it says that I have 613 play sessions for PlayStation 5 and 13 play sessions for PlayStation 4. That's like I said, that averages like twice a day. And that seems like a lot, unless it's including... The only thing I can think of is, like, is it possible that it's including, like, at night when I'm watching freaking Netflix? Like, is it counting that as a play session? Because that would make sense, because I play video games in the morning and I usually stream something at night.
I don't know if it does or not.
Because that would be interesting. I mean, it's entirely possible that I've sat down and... The other thing that I wonder is that, like, I wonder if maybe it counts it, like, if you, like, let's say you pause a game and then you hit the home button and you're back out to the cross media bar.
Yeah.
And then you jump back into the game. Like, are those 2 different play sessions? Because, like, if that's how it's counting it, then yeah, I'm sure that I could probably rack up that many play sessions by, like, jumping out and back in or whatever if I'm dicking around.
Yeah.
But 512 hours is a lot. It seems like a lot to me. But
it is a lot of gaming, man. It's a ton of gaming. But good for you, man. I mean, that's, we have a podcast. We like to game. We like to do this kind of crap. Makes sense. All right, let's go into trophies next. Trophies for 2024. I had 263 trophies. Jake, how many did you have?
369.
Wow, good for you.
1 platinum, 16 gold, 60 silver, 292 bronze.
Okay. Yeah, I had 8 gold, 54 silver, and 201 bronze. So, still not bad, That's putting some work in, both of us. Us combined, you know what I mean? I'd say we got some trophies in. And what else? There was one more stat. No, that's pretty much it, I think. So, I don't really have any other thing else, I don't think, about trophies. Let me see here. Nope, that's it. But my first trophy was A Fine Hound for Final Fantasy XVI, and my latest trophy was for beating the 4th Confession in Darkest Dungeon 2, but I can't pull the title of that yet because it didn't upload yet. But I just got that yesterday.
Interesting. Yeah, it shows my first trophy was a Beat Saber trophy called Warm Up.
I like it.
And then it has a bunch of different trophies in here for other little shit that I guess I played throughout the year. But then my most recent trophy was His Majesty, which is a metaphor trophy, which makes sense, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks. Interesting. Cool. Well, that's the wrap, dude, for us for 2024. If you guys want to share with us some of your accomplishments, we'd like to hear about them. And then lastly, we just have 3 news points to talk about, and then we'll be out of your hair for today. We are recording this on the eve of a holiday, so we don't want to take up too much of our own time doing this or waste too much of yours this holiday season. So my first news point that I had here was a brief one about CD Projekt Red. They came out in an interview and they stated that the purpose of their Witcher 4 trailer was primarily to show that Ciri was going to be the protagonist in the new game. And they obviously have also said that she's kind of on the path now. She's mutated a bit. She has the eye. She has the Witcher vibe to her now, whereas she wasn't quite that in The Witcher 3. But they also wanted to say that they obviously want to support all platforms, but they can't tell any more specifics. So I think this is probably CD Projekt Red just being really guarded about what they're saying their next game's going to run on because of all the shit they ran into with Cyberpunk. So at least it sounds like they might have learned a lesson, but time will tell ultimately. Jake?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to believe anything CD Projekt Red says almost until this game is launched. I mean, I will be excited for it, and, obviously, I think that what they showed looked great, but we haven't seen any gameplay or anything, and I hope they just don't... They just come out and say this isn't coming out on PS4 and Xbox One. Like, that, it would be so stupid for them to do that.
Yeah.
After all the trouble that they had with Cyberpunk, it's like, just say, hey, this is next gen only. I mean, hey, it might even be literally next gen.
Dude,
PS6,
yeah,
Xbox, whatever, and PS5, and maybe what they're commenting on is like, hey, we might not even know if we're gonna be able to support PS5 with this. Mm-hmm. It might be too good. We might have to be PS5 Pro, or maybe it's a PS6 exclusive game or something like that. But yeah, I think it's going to be a while probably before we really know much of anything about this and what kind of platforms it's going to run on.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's crazy. We'll see. So the next news point is also PlayStation, maybe future related, but Mark Cerny indicated he was giving a PS5 Pro Tech video presentation. And in Mark Cerny fashion, he pretty much just indicated that PS6 is going to be partnered with AMD. So he went into a lot of technical jargon that I don't even understand. I'm excited that people are excited, but I don't know much about this stuff. But it's weird to even think that they're bringing up PS6 or they're, you know what I mean? I don't know if they specifically did, but moving forward, they're starting to kind of lay a little subtle groundwork with their intention with future hardware, I think. But cool. Did you watch this video?
I did not watch it just because it seemed like it was a pretty technical presentation. Mm-hmm. Not that I wouldn't be able to, I'm not saying I could understand it or anything like that, but it's just like, I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, I mean, none of this is really surprising. It's like, okay, you're going to partner with AMD. Of course, that makes sense. We already kind of knew that from that news point a while ago where we found out, I think, that Intel lost the bid on the next consoles or what have you because they were too expensive and they might not be able to support backwards compatibility or whatever it is. So, this all kind of makes sense. And what I'm not opposed to these tech videos. I mean, Mark Cerny's a pretty smart dude, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I will probably wait until we get the next the presentation about the next console because I'm sure that the PS5 Pro is great, but I'm not. It's not as. And I don't know. I mean, maybe even the PS6 is just going to be the same thing where it's just like an iteration. It's not going to be anything really that special.
Yeah.
But there's something about a new console that makes me a little bit more interested in these types of tech talks rather than just like, oh, it's just a pro version of the console you already have. But yeah, that's kind of where I sit with it.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Cool. And then the last news point real quick. Amazon's secret level. I haven't gotten through all these yet. They're little vignettes of video game homages, and the first season apparently went pretty well because they have been renewed for a second season. So I'm in. You watched all these, didn't you?
So here's the thing, is that I had no fucking clue, and I hate the way that some of these, like, why would they do this? They released half of this season on December 9th and half of the season on December 16th.
Oh, so there's more in there now?
So I watched the first 8 episodes, and that was all that was on Prime, and I was like, oh, I guess I watched the whole first season.
Yeah.
And then I was listening to some podcasts, and they're talking about, like, an Outer Worlds episode. I'm like, I don't fucking remember that. And so, like, I looked on Amazon Prime, and yep, there's 8 more episodes on there I can watch.
Really?
And it's like, what the hell? Why didn't you just release them all the same fucking week? Wow. Like, either do the HBO thing and release 1 episode a week, like a normal primetime kind of schedule, or just fucking release them all. Why are you releasing half of them 1 week and half of them a week later? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, apparently there's 8 more episodes 7 or 8 more episodes that I've yet to see.
Wow.
But I'm like I said, excuse me. Like I said, I'm intrigued by it, but it's not really my style of television. I prefer a little bit more exposition out of the content that I watch, but just because most of these episodes are really short.
Yeah.
I've heard
the Sifu one's really awesome.
I did like the Sifu one. I thought that the Armored Core one was awesome.
I haven't watched that one yet, I don't think.
The Warhammer one was really good.
I put that one on while I was baking cookies, which was a mistake because I just kept looking back at the TV and I was like, I saw these awesome, like, fucking, like, 20-second shots in between, like, mixing shit of these fucking Warhammer Space Marines just kicking ass. And I was like, I got to go back and watch this whole thing. It looked awesome.
Yeah. And there is I haven't watched any of this I don't know, man. I guess I like it, but like it's not. I don't know. Like the Crossfire one was kind of interesting.
Crossfire.
But the Armored Core one was really cool. And then but like from the second half of the first season, I guess I'm kind of interested. And obviously like the Outer Worlds is neat. There's a Mega Man one, which is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. There's an Exodus one, which is that new game that hasn't come out yet that's like by the Mass Effect people. Not BioWare, but like people that made Mass Effect.
Ex-developers.
And then there's a Spelunky one, which is weird. That Concord one did release, so there is a Concord episode.
It would be funny if it was like the best one of all of them.
Yeah. And then I haven't. Apparently, the one that like the PlayStation one is really bad, but I haven't watched it yet either because it's in the second half. So I'll probably catch up on these. I'm guessing over the next couple days, just to kind of see how it all pans out. It's kind of nice that they're so short because you can just kind of sit and rip through a few of them.
Yeah, I like
while you're eating dinner or something.
The length is perfect, yeah.
But like I it's hard for me to get attached really to any of these episodes because it's like, oh well, it's like I saw something shiny for a few minutes and then it was done, and it's like okay, but it's kind of an interesting idea, and I'm obviously it's been successful because they're renewing it for a second season. So I'll be curious to see what they come up with, if they'll try to sequelize any of these minisodes, or if they'll be 15 or 16 completely new short stories. You know what I mean? Like, are they going to take any of these existing short stories from the first season and try and build upon them with another short story in that universe? Or is it going to be
one and done,
a bunch of new things, which would be, I'll be interested to see what they come up with there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, very good. Well, before we get out of here, just want to wish everybody a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday, whatever the hell you want to call it. And that's it for the show. This is episode 357 of PS. This is awesome. That was our PlayStation 2024 wrap. We'll be back next year, of course, with a new episode.
Well, we'll have an episode before the New Year.
Are you sure?
Yeah, the New Year's on Wednesday.
Well, that's when the episode airs.
So I guess technically, yes, we will record before the New Year, but it will air.
I guess our patrons will get it a little bit earlier. Yeah, it'll be right around 2025. So
yeah, I guess that's true.
Fair.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Well, very good. Well, thanks, Jake. Is there anything you'd like to say before we head out?
No, other than I was just looking at your outro here, and I just want to say real quickly that Narita Boy is a fucking awesome game, and more people should play it.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. Other than, yeah, obviously, everybody have a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. If you're traveling, be careful. We have to travel, and we're driving, so it shouldn't be too bad, but apparently, like, traffic and travel is going to be a fucking nightmare this year. It seems like it's been getting worse the past couple years, and I don't know if that's because air travel's gotten, like, kind of funny.
Yeah, because of all the drones. No one wants to take an airplane.
Well, I just saw an article that said that apparently, like, all of American Airlines flights have been grounded.
Yeah.
Because of a system-wide, like, issue.
That's what they're saying, but it's actually an alien invasion, so...
Oh, my God.
It's not aliens.
Yes. Yeah, everybody be careful out there.
Maybe it is.
If you don't celebrate the holidays, no big deal. I feel like this time of year is super stressful for a lot of people that don't have, maybe don't have close relationships with their families, or maybe they're not really that into Christmas, or they've got some other stuff going on. And it's easy, I think, to let the hustle and bustle around you and all of the commercialization of everything, easy to, like, have it get you down in the dumps or whatever. Just remember that, like, none of it fucking matters.
It's true.
In in like 2 days, because this is going to air on Christmas technically, in 1 day, everything is going to be back to normal. They're going to try and sell you on Valentine's Day shit.
Yep.
So you'll have a whole nother thing to be stressed out about. So realize that like none of this crap you see at Walmart matters, and try not to be too stressed out about it. Sit down, enjoy some video games.
Yeah.
And
reset.
Yeah, if you can, stay away from freaking stores, because they are insane right now. Although I guess it'll be after Christmas by the time most people hear this. But yeah, I drove past Walmart. It's Christmas Eve, like you said, and I had to take the dog. We had a vet appointment this morning, and I drove, and there was like a couple things that I could have used, but they weren't like absolutely necessary. And I was like, no fucking way am I stopping anywhere on the way home. I was like, I'm just going straight home. And because I drove past Walmart, and it was like there were just cars everywhere.
The menagerie.
And I'm like, holy cow. It's like every year, imagine, like, do you think that there would be like a serious like economic problem if everybody got their shopping done early? Like, let's say everybody got their shopping done early,
like in April,
and Walmart was no longer busy on New Year's Eve.
I don't think it would be a problem. No.
I mean, all that money would still be spent, but I wonder if because of the way that everything is like allocated, it, like, let's just say for 1 year it happened.
I hear you.
Would it really fuck up the books of some of these major companies? I think it might. I think it'd fuck some shit up. And it would certainly make everybody's lives a little bit easier, because nothing stresses you out more than trying to get a gallon of, like, you go into Walmart and literally all you need is a gallon of milk or something, but it's like you're wading through chaos.
I'd rather just buy it at a gas station for the extra $1.
Yeah. Or so, yeah, I mean, it's insane. So,
I did want to say, yeah, that's a good point. I don't know what would happen, but I did want to say, this time of year, if you're into Christmas movies and you're tired of watching Christmas Vacation, which you can't understand why you would be, but you're watching all the original lame shit that you watch every year. I watched a new Christmas movie last night called Red One on Amazon. And
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
So it's new. And it's got The Rock in it, and it has the guy who plays Captain America, and
Chris Evans.
Yeah, it's a really fun, creative, fantastical Christmas movie. That's actually pretty good. It's actually
Did you see that one? Like, I think it was last year. Eddie Murphy did a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw the I didn't watch any of the trailers or anything, but I saw some ads for that Red One or whatever the heck you said it was called, and it seemed kind of interesting. I'm always like intrigued by the idea of some of these new Christmas movies. Dude, maybe I'm just getting crotchety, but like,
well, I'll give you the premise.
Every new movie looks bad to me.
I'll give you the premise of it, and it's pretty simple. So there's a guy, a bad actor played by Chris Evans. He is like a hacker, somebody who can find people, right? He takes the highest paid bidder and he locates whatever the person is or whoever the person is or whatever, and then he gets paid for the gig. So he tracks down Santa. He doesn't know that it's Santa. He doesn't know who's asking him, because this is how the dark web works. And Santa gets kidnapped. And The Rock is Santa's personal bodyguard. And he's decked out in like, looks like a superhero outfit. Like, just like the leather, like he's like ripped, and he fucking tracks down Chris Evans. Without going to spoilers, he says, "I don't think you understand what you did." And Chris Evans is a funny actor, and he's saying, "What do you mean? I just paid the fucking highest bidder." And he's like, "No, I don't think you get what you did." And he's like, "Well, who the fuck are you?" And then so he ends up convincing him that what happened, and they go on this crazy fucking, I don't know, Marvel kind of esque adventure to try to rescue Santa, who's played by this jacked old guy. I can't remember. He's a famous actor here.
Oh yeah, it's the dude. Isn't it the dude from the Farmers commercial?
J.K. Simmons. Yeah.
Yeah. He played J. Jonah Jameson. In Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he's not a fat Santa. He's a ripped Santa, and he's got this fucking beard, this real pointy beard, and he and The Rock are like best buddies, and they do this every year, and they deliver presents and stuff, and there's just some really cute parts, and it. I would recommend it. There's a part where like Chris Evans towards the beginning was talking to The Rock. He's like, "Oh, let me guess, he asked like The Rock, like, why, what's so special about what you do?" And he's like, "Oh, what you mean? Literally sneak into every house in the world, find the chimney, go down, blah 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 blah, not wake anybody. It's like it's the biggest stealth mission ever pulled off." He goes, "We run a tight." He's like, "We run a fucking tight operation. You think you could do better?" And he's like looking at him like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So it's kind of cool. It's got like cute little things like that. I recommend it. It's a good movie. I liked it. So, anyways, that out of the way. You guys have a good Christmas. We'll be back around next year. So, like Nanotech Warrior, Naruto Boy, and Net High. P.S.
Yes.
This is awesome.
This is awesome.